what would be your biggest challenge currently, you would say, running a practice after all these years? Do you still have any kind of major challenges you're trying to overcome?
I think
Thank you, everyone, for joining in on this hellonote podcast. Today, we actually have a special guest, Nichole Harju, physical therapist from Gurnee, Illinois. And the name of her practice is Creative Rehab. So thank you very much, Nichole, for joining. How are you today?
I'm good. Thank you for having me.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you very much. So on this podcast, we'll be going over some questions about your practice. So we're looking forward to getting some knowledge about yourself, your background, and what type of business you run and everything that goes into running your business. So appreciate having you on and your time. So do you have any questions before we begin?
Nope, I'm ready.
All right, awesome. So give us a little bit of background on yourself. We know you're a physical therapist. What made you pursue being a physical therapist? And were there any other possible kind of career choices for you? Or did you know PT was the right fit for you?
So my mom is a physical therapist, and our business, she started it and I've taken it over. So it's my family business. Cool. So everyone assumes that I always grew up wanting to be a physical therapist, and that is not the case. I have always been a part of the company, but I actually wanted to be a marine biologist from the time I was in first grade. Oh, wow. Through junior year of high school. Yep. I wanted to go study sharks, and that's what I wanted to do.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I know. Sometimes I'm like, oh, that does sound fun to be on a beach somewhere. And
so maybe one day you'll right. Go back, study sharks. That's awesome.
Right. So, but yeah, I was a competitive swimmer and I had issues with my shoulders. I'm hypermobile, and my mom would work on me. And then eventually senior year of high school, when I was still swimming, and some of my friends would start complaining about their shoulders, and I would start to be like, well, what if we just did this? Or what if let me stretch you here? And then I was like, oh crap. Like, no, this is what I'm meant to be. It's not to, be with fish. It's to be with people and to be a PT. So it was a little different good. And I'm very grateful because I'm definitely meant to do this. So
I love it. Okay, that's awesome. So you're not regretting your choice not to be a marine biologist. So that's awesome. Good.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. So you're a physical therapist. What is your specialty? Like, do you have a specific niche that you focus on, or you do a variety of different things?
Yes. So I have a few different specialties. I do treat vestibular therapy. I also have treated peds for my whole career. And then in the last 10 years, I have really gotten into hypermobility. So hypermobility, Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, POTS, all that goes with it. That is predominantly what I see. And it kind of, I think all my specialties I've picked up over the years has kind of led me to serving this population, because all of my patients have some sort of vestibular component. I'm able to treat teens and kids that are hypermobile. So it's kind of like all my specialties together have led me to really give a well-rounded care to this population.
All right. Awesome. So thanks for sharing about your background. So now let's get into your practice, your business. So this is a family practice. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. So tell us about that. How you ended up being involved in the beginning, and then where you are now and your roles now.
Yeah. So the clinic started March 1st in 1998. So we've been in business almost 27 years.
Awesome.
My mom started it in the room above our garage, and she had been in leadership positions at the hospital in the therapy department. And she just kept getting frustrated, getting pushed more and more out of patient care. And she decided she wanted to do it different. She wanted to do it, quote unquote, better, right? She wanted to focus on patients more. So she decided
we all want. We want the patient, right? That's why we went to school. It's why we went, all that craziness of school and passing boards, right? So
right. Yeah, it's not as much fun if you're just doing paperwork. It's more fun when you get to deal with patients. So
Yep, exactly.
yeah. So she started it there, and then after a few years, she kept getting more referrals because she is the best physical therapist. She is phenomenal. And so she just kept getting more and more patients. So she had to hire people, and then she moved to her first clinic. We're now on our fifth clinic. So not 5 different clinics, just 5 different locations.
Okay.
And then so it just kind of kept growing, and kept adding more and more therapists. There's such a great need. And at one point in 2009, we had 2 different locations. So it was like at the peak, I think we had 2 locations and 12 therapists. So it's a decent size for sure.
That's a lot. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. So, and it's taken different shapes and forms over the years with the recession in 2009 and change in healthcare.
Business ownership, right? So you gotta roll with the tide.
100%. So that's exactly we've had to pivot and roll. And just this year, we actually just moved 2 months ago, moved the clinic again just to help right size and adjust expenses. And it's been a fantastic decision. So
very nice.
Yeah.
And now, what is your current role in the company or title?
Yes. So now I have taken it over, and I'm president and COO. I still see patients, and my mom, she sees patients like a few hours a week. She's also has a different company, so she's still not retired, which people assume that she is, but she is working more now than ever, just in a different company.
Yeah.
But yes, and I've done every odds and ends in the business over the last, over a decade of front desk. I had to take over office management when I was in PT school still, and director of operations. And then it's just kind of progressed. So it wasn't just a step change. It was a very gradual progression in responsibility.
Wow. Awesome. Yeah, that's the true life of an entrepreneur and business owner, right? Where you're taking over every single role. But that's awesome, because that allows you to oversee everything and know what components have to go into each. So when you do have to make changes or hires, you're not doing it just because, you're doing it with basis. So that's actually really cool. So very nice. All right. Thanks, Nichole, for that. And you mentioned, so you guys have physical locations, right? So patients come into a brick and mortar location.
Yeah.
Okay. Have you ever considered doing anything hybrid where you go into the patient's homes? Has that ever been on a roadmap or anything?
We've done some of that more on a need basis. It's just the therapist willing to travel, and just the time component in adding travel to that. But we've done that if patients can't get in to the office. And we've also, now that telehealth since COVID has been a thing, like I have a few telehealth patients where my patients can't make it out of the house. So that's been a great opportunity.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
So even right now, so if a patient can't make it to the office, you make accommodations to treat them?
We do our best. It kind of depends. Sometimes it's more of like for a few weeks they can't make it in, and then they'll be able to come into the office. Gotcha. If it's just solely home therapy, we won't do that.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. Thank you. Thanks for sharing. And the reason I ask is because there's a lot of now in-home therapy practices. So I just like to know if there's hybrid, if there are a lot of our clients, they do in-home only. A lot of them just do brick and mortar, and a lot of them are hybrid. So thanks for sharing that. Are there any plans to have a kind of a location just specifically for in-home, or it's not on your radar?
Not on my radar. Probably doing more telehealth versus in-home.
All right. Cool. Very nice. Awesome. Thanks. And so talk to us about how you get paid by the patients. Is it insurance? Is it cash-based? Is it hybrid? What does that look like?
Yeah, so mostly insurance-based. We do have some cash-based patients, and we also have some work comp patients. So, but predominantly insurance.
Insurance. Okay. And what insurances do you typically take?
We take all insurances that are PPO plans, but we are in network with Blue Cross and Medicare. And then for our out of network, we try and see what their patient responsibility is and try and work with a cash-based system, so it's not at full cost to the patient, of how we can maybe try and adjust or offset if necessary.
Gotcha. Okay. And then where your locations are in Gurnee, Illinois, how's the market with therapy practices? Is it saturated, or are you guys more kind of the only ones in your area? What is that?
Yeah, there's, it's definitely been a progression over 20 years. It used to be all just private clinics. And then I don't know about where you are, but we have a bunch of chain therapy clinics that are moving in and taking over. So really in Gurnee, I think there's maybe one other private therapy clinic. And then everything else is either like hospital outpatient or chain based. So it's really dwindled, and then there was one. So
yeah. Yeah. Okay. Awesome. And regarding those chains, so I'm in New York City, so I definitely know about the chains and coming in and taking over. Are you noticing that there were a lot of private clinics that got bought out or acquired, or they just came in to kind of put in their locations themselves?
Both. Okay. I know a few clinic owners that just were like, okay, we're done, and they sold to one of the chains. And then there's just a lot of other pop-up chain locations, so they're very saturated. And that's definitely one of our issues with marketing, is to try and compete against them, because they have such a high marketing budget and can talk to the doctors and do all this stuff. So we really try and focus more on patients and just being the best, where patients keep talking about us, right?
Absolutely, yeah. Nothing better than word of mouth referrals, right? So
that's our bread and butter. So.
Yep. Same. We're in a different. Well, we have a practice we run, but from our software side, it's the same thing. It's the referrals that come in from somebody else, they mean the most, right? So you can always pay for marketing, and it's great because that's how you get clients outside of your kind of network. But it means a lot when you have a patient that refers somebody to somebody else, right? So it's awesome. So you mentioned marketing; it was one of my questions. So I do want to ask you how you guys are doing marketing now. Do you do any paid marketing, or is it more organic, mixture of both?
I don't do any paid. Eventually maybe we'll get there, but I really try and work on our SEO for our website. I'm kind of doing an overhaul right now for our website, and I write blog posts. I sent out patient newsletters that are just updates with content. I tell my staff all the time that us being the best therapists will get people to want to talk about you, and we do it because we want to be the best therapist for our patient, but it's just, I tell them that they're doing excellent marketing just by treating their patients so well. And then I'm also doing community marketing, because we are, being a small business, trying to go out to other small businesses. So other Pilates studios, gyms in the area, and trying to make referrals, massage therapists and acupuncture. We try and have those kind of cross relationships for sure. And then a new thing that I'm doing right now is trying to think about the businesses that talk to people the most. So, and trying to get in front of them. So going to salons and trying to give a 10 or 15 minute educational lecture for all of the hairstylists about why they have pain and how to make them feel better.
Nice, yeah.
Because if they hear someone, oh man, my back hurts. Oh, you know what? Like we had this person who came in.
Yeah, that's smart. I think that's awesome. Yeah, because salons, even I remember like a year ago, my barber had to get some surgery because he had back and neck pain. So yeah. Listen, everyone works. Everyone. As we get older, pain starts popping up. So yeah, that's awesome. So I like that community approach and also how you build relationships, right? So that's cool. All right, awesome. So as far as marketing goes, you're not doing too much of paid. It's more organic, it sounds like.
Yes.
Are you the one, because you mentioned you write blog posts and you go out there, do you hire anybody to help you with marketing, or is it you?
Yeah. Right now, it's just me. I do have one of my, I have an amazing front desk staff. I have two people that are they're fantastic in many different capacities. And one of them has been helping me with the social marketing because, you just can't do it all the time. So I try and give her content.
We try to do it all, right?
Right.
We can't.
Right. So I'm very thankful that I have someone I can trust and she takes it and runs with it. And so she's been doing more of the Facebook and Instagram marketing.
Awesome.
So I give her that content and she's been running with that. So that's been a huge help.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, our team, I think for every business owner, the team you have around you, it is you. Without them, you wouldn't be where you are. So,
100%.
You mentioned that, and it's important to have a good team around you. Awesome.
Yes.
Do you remember your like first patient that you treated in the office? Is it someone that just walked through the door? Is it someone you brought in?
I don't remember who my very first patient was. I do have a few that I know that have been with me the whole time. And I actually have one patient that he's 28 now, and I've known him since he was like 15. And so it makes me feel very old. And he's had multiple surgeries over the years and has his issues. But so we talk about that all the time, that he was probably one of my first patients that I treated. But they just walked in off the street for sure.
Nice. All right, awesome. So you mentioned, so you have a lot of roles in the company, including marketing and all of that. How do you balance and juggle your time? Do you have an office where you go into an office like at your practice? Do you have a home office? Like, how do you make sure that everything gets done on your kind of daily to do?
It's challenging. And at our clinic, so we have 7 therapists now. And every therapist has their own treatment room. So we all kind of have our own office. So at our previous location, I had my treatment room and an office, but I would never leave my treatment room, right? I'm a therapist at heart. I'm going to sit on my stool and I'm going to work on my computer. So so we got rid of that. And so now I just have my treatment room and that's my office, and I do pretty much everything from there. I will work from home sometimes because I get more done. As the hard part is, it's not as much people, checking on me or bugging me. It's more of just, I really like my staff and they're a lot of fun. And so it's hard to stay focused around them.
I got you. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. That's a good problem to have, I would say. Right? So
it is a good problem.
It's a good environment then.
Yes.
So everyone's having fun.
Yes.
Awesome.
So yes, we have fun for sure.
Awesome. All right. And then as far as staff goes, you mentioned you have 2 front desk staff members. Aside from therapists, who else do you have on your team? Do you have like a billing staff members separately, coordinators, schedulers?
So we have a third-party billing company. So, and we just switched to them and they're doing a great job. So they've been a really big asset. And I'm very thankful for that. And my 2 front desk, I use front desk, but really their capacity is like, they do so many different things. So they do patient scheduling. One of them helps more with the marketing. The other one looks more at insurance. They both verify insurance. They take care of the clinic. They do so many odds and ends. So they have many different hats that they wear too and make it easy to delegate to them. So
awesome. Yeah. And that's, listen, it makes it, more kind of not fun for them, but doesn't keep them bored, right? So 100%. They wear different hats. It's also a good thing. So awesome. Cool. Yeah. And then back to the therapists. Are they contractors or W-2 employees or a mix?
They're all W-2. We have 2 part-time and everyone else is full-time. But all full-time or all W-2 employees.
Gotcha. And as far as like hiring goes, because I know that's a challenge. Like, I know every city, state, everything's different. But we talk to a lot of clinic owners, including here. It's challenging to hire, right, and retain some therapists. how do you deal with that? What type of where do your therapists usually come from? Do they referrals from others? Do you run ads on Indeed or something like that?
I've done Indeed. That's usually where I'll do it. But I've had two therapists that are more new grads that actually were looking for a private practice and kind of found us. So I'm very grateful for them. But yes, awesome. Hiring is very challenging in our area because we also have so many hospital systems kind of taken over, and they try and poach for sure. And so we've been victim to that in the last year or so too.
Yeah, they got the big bucks, so they can.
Yes. Yes.
So how do you incentivize therapists to come join you? Do you offer benefits, hours? Do you pay for documentation, for example? What do you do for that?
Yes. Yeah. So we try and be as competitive as we can with salary and hourly rate. We do see one patient an hour, so there's no text or aid. So for 45 minutes. So that helps give a little bit of reprieve. It's not, one patient every 15 minutes, 20 minutes or so. So that's a nice thing that therapists like. You can actually develop that relationship. We do have benefits. We cover a portion of health insurance. We have short-term disability insurance that we cover, work comp, malpractice insurance. We cover all of that. We offer vacation and sick time. We have a 401k match.
Nice, very cool.
Yeah, and just scheduling wise, I really view it as all my therapists are professionals, all my staff are professionals, and so I give a lot of autonomy. So we have to make the schedule work for our patient load of what we need. But then if people are like, I have a doctor's appointment, I'm just going to shift these hours, I say, great, just get your patients in. So there's a lot of flexibility there and ownership over their schedule and their day. So that's a huge benefit too. Yeah.
Awesome.
And culture is a big thing too.
Yes, culture is good. Well, it sounds like you guys have a good culture in the office, so that's awesome.
Yes, absolutely.
Cool. So what would be your biggest challenge currently, you would say, running a practice after all these years? Do you still have any kind of major challenges you're trying to overcome?
I think the pressure from the chain therapy clinics and the hospitals to keep our therapists is honestly the biggest pressure, and decreasing reimbursement rates. Those two are making it very challenging. So those are my two biggest ones right now.
Yeah, unfortunately, the insurance industry, they're always trying to, on top of decreasing reimbursement, they are also implementing, authorizations, unit maximums, and these high co-payments and all this stuff that does not get attractive for patients to actually want to come in. On top of us having to keep therapists coming in now, the patients don't want to come because they have to pay every single time, and it's high co-payments or whatever, co-insurances, deductibles, all of that. What will they come up with next? That's kind of, I learned yeah, exactly. So I learn all the time when we have clients I speak to and demos and all of that. A lot of them tell us so many different things, like, oh, do you do this? Do you do that? And sometimes I'm like, really? Insurances are not requiring something like that? Like, I just had a client, she's saying with an insurance, PT, OT cannot bill on the same day, no matter the CPT codes. And I do know a lot of times you can add a modifier for that. That's how a lot of our clients, they do it. So they were saying, well, they've not been getting paid. They've lost out on thousands of dollars. And they wanted something to prevent kind of cross-discipline on the same day, regardless of the CPT codes. So again, it's like always learning, always something new, because every plan is different. So I hear you on that. And I think a lot of our viewers hear you on that too, because it's so challenging with, on top of running a business, now you have to deal with, someone that doesn't want to pay out. So
fighting for that money where you did the job, it's very frustrating.
Yeah. And again, we went into this business because we want to help patients treat, right? And it's kind of like a roadblock where we're doing our best, but we have to survive. We have to get paid. We have to pay our staff. We have to keep the lights on, right, in the office, utilities, bills, everything. So,
Right.
okay, awesome. So, well,
Yeah.
not awesome, but thanks for sharing. Awesome on, at least it's a uniform problem. That's so
Right.
hopefully one day we'll all come together as therapists and we won't have to deal with these type of issues. So, all right. So thanks for sharing that. And what is your long-term goal for your practice?
I really just want to continue the legacy that we've had for almost 27 years. I think in this day and age, having any business for that long is great, but also a business cool. in healthcare is a lot. Like that's not very common. So my goal is to keep the culture, keep the mission and the vision to really take care of the patients and treat functionally. Like that's where I want it. But, you know, like we kind of talked about at the beginning, being a business owner, you got to adapt. So this year's been all about adaptation for me and how we're going to change and move the business. So I want the principles to be the same, but how it looks may be different. Maybe more telehealth, maybe more specialties, or, you know, different types of more cash business. So I'm open to the possibilities depending on what we're going to need to keep everything moving forward.
Awesome. I love that. Yeah. So your long-term plan is legacy. So you're not looking to sell it off, right? You want to continue growing it.
Right. I want to continue growing it. I don't have any grand plans of that. I think if it continues to serve the purpose of treating patients how we want to do it and serving the community, then why stop, right? Let's keep it going.
Yeah, absolutely. Cool. And last question for you would be, what advice would you have for others that are looking to start a business? You know, just in general, there's a lot of practitioners out there, you know, and they're not getting appreciated from their work environment. So a lot of them are looking to open up their own practice, right? So is there any advice you would give to them?
I think doing your research beforehand, just as far as all the things that it takes to run a business, is important to not go in blindly. Definitely there is a shift that you can't see patients all the time. So it is a part-time patient care, part-time running the business. And I think kind of what my biggest lesson has been over the last 4 or 5 years is just being agile, not having one view of how your clinic needs to look, or like it has to be in this location because that's where it started. Just being open to the opportunities that may come, so then you can keep your whole why of why you started it going. That would be my advice.
Very nice. Thank you. Thanks for sharing that. Cool. Well, Nichole, thank you very much. Appreciate your time and you sharing all that with us. So wish you all the best on your journey with your business. And I hope to connect with you sometime in the future.
Great. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you, Nichole. Appreciate it.